I'm trying to find some light here. This is just a mess of bits and bobs. I've been not able to get out in the garden at all, actually. And I've got a log of my potatoes that I planted for myself, so I'll throw that on. And I got my sweet potatoes in. There's a failure waiting to happen. So just bits and bobs of things that have gone on this week. So I had showed in an earlier video where I had sweet potatoes that I left to see if they would sprout in the pantry. They did, so I stuck them in a little tub of water, and they seem to have enjoyed that, and so the slips are sprouting. So, if I'm all wet. I've never grown sweet potatoes before. They, of course, are not related to our regular spuds in the mud. And therefore, they require, rather than just sticking them in the ground, we have to grow slips. That's what they're called. So I've rooted some. This is not something that I think particularly succeeds ever in Newfoundland, but I want to give it a try. And so right now I'm going to leave some of them on to go further. There's a tiny one there. He can go further. And then, but this one has some leaves going good and lots of roots. So I'm going to take him off and put him in a glass. Just a few of them. So I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to snap it off. Oh, comes off nicely. There we go. Stick that in for further rooting. I'm running out of time. They are a long season plant, long warm season plant. So did I mention I'm experimenting? Because that's about all it's going to be. So I'm going to take this one, see if I can get a good amount of roots here. Ooh, that looks good. See? Stick them in there and some fresh. Just to see if I can hurry some of them along. And yeah, I might take all of those off. Anyways, I'll get on with that and maybe leave these just where I had them. And but they won't, as I say, they don't grow from this. They grow from these slips. Oh, I'm going to take this one too. There we go. All right. I'll bring you back when I get further along with those. So this is a week later, I think, and they seem to be rooting well. So I'm going to put them outside. It's not really hot outside yet, so this may be an error I'm making. But I'm also trying to think of the time that they require to grow, and I'm going to give it a go. Now, anytime I've seen pictures of these, they do appear to be much bigger and a longer plant. But these haven't grown much in the leaf area, just they've rooted well. So I think it'll work. And this was the Malabar spinach that I just cut, took a clipping from what I have growing indoors and stuck it in dirt, and it has rooted and it's now growing, so I'm going to stick that outside also. So the sweet potatoes went in here. I couldn't think of another place to put them. We'll see how they do. Purple Chief and Red Chieftain. Marsh Cobbler, Red Norland. Classic Russet, and Greta's Mixed Bag from Saved last year, which is Purple Chief, Red Chieftain, and some Purple Peruvian. It's raining out, and not a whole lot to see in the garden, but I'm just going for a little walkabout, so I thought I'd bring you along. So starting with my garlic and my onions. I don't think they mind the rain too much, but it seems to be flooding a wee bit. I am, as always, pleased to see when things pop up, so I'm glad to see the onions all making their way through. Rhubarb's up. Planted this edible berry last year. Cannot remember the name of it, but I'm pleased to see it's flowering. Lots of berries on the blackcurrant. Not so many on the young red currant yet. Just some young chives my friend gave me last year. Strawberry bed's looking good. I have about 45 broad beans in the raised beds, or fava beans, and in the upper end where my onions are, I think I planted about 60 more for succession plant. Just an update to these indoor plants. It's a happy trio, I think. You'll see how the Malabar spinach has wrapped around, grabbed a tomato that was gone wild and pulled it over, and it's just entwined, but they seem happy. So there's Malabar spinach here, lemon cucumber, and now a tomato got dragged into it. So he's just going to stay there. I can't even turn the pot around anymore. So there's lots of little lemon cucumbers coming on. My first tasting of those is coming up, and I've heard so much about how lovely they are. Like most vegetables, you're to pick these in their prime. That's not too big, not too small. So I think I've got it right. Cut it open, and Bruce and I gave it a tasting, and they are lovely. I see why now everybody says they don't make them in from the garden. You can just eat them like this. You don't even want to put it in a salad. Really nice, sweet. Doesn't have that bitter. That's what they're known for. They don't have the bitter. There's less of the whatever it's called in them, and really, really nice cucumber. So we've had an awful lot of rain. I'm not complaining because I have certainly seen snow this time of year. So let the rain come. I've been inspecting the blueberries, and it's great to see the weather hasn't affected the blooms. So I think we're going to have a good year. Last year was not the best year for our wild blueberries, but they're sneaking everywhere. They're really popping up beautifully, filled with flowers. So that should be a great harvest this year. It's evening now. I just wanted to show you my chickpeas. Let me go down and get them. So I put the whole pack in this end of a bed, and it's a bit of a waste of a bed because I'm just really... I think you need a whole field of chickpeas to really make it worthwhile. But I will do that in the future if I find that they grow well here. So they're all starting to pop up. So I'm looking forward to seeing what I get. I don't think each chickpea has too many on them. I think it's 5 or 6 on each plant. So it does seem a waste of half of my bed here. But hey, for future. Broad beans have shot up in, geez, just a couple of days. That's good. In this whole bed I've planted all my beans. So I've got Coco Sophie, Coco de Chine, or Chine, a very, very rare bean for drying. And then my usual, which is the Lewis, the green, the Royal Burgundy, the purple, and oh, and my edamame is in there, the soybean. So yeah, just a big mixed bag of things. I can hear Bruce. It's the end of the night now. I can hear Bruce snapping some twigs on his knees, so he's got the fire pit going. I think I'll go and join him. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week.